if Daniel Dubois does beat Alexander Usyk, Frank Warren has said that he's not really comfortable with making the fight between you and Dubois. Is that a fight that you'd push for, though?
If I did come back, hypothetically speaking, if I was to return and I was to box Daniel Dubois, I would box that his off.
Tyson Fury never hesitates to speak his mind, and his recent thoughts on the upcoming Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois rematch have sent shockwaves through the boxing world.
He wouldn't land the glove on me. It'd be a one-sided beatdown. But listen, I wish him luck in his fight against Usyk. But styles make fights, you know what I mean? And his style and my style don't gel. I would absolutely annihilate him.
In a candid media scrum, the Gypsy King admitted that he's unsure who will prevail when Usyk and Dubois face off again at Wembley Stadium on July 19th, 2025. Fury shared his honest assessment, and his take adds another layer of intrigue to what promises to be an electrifying clash. The first fight between Usyk and Dubois, held in August 2023, was a spectacle full of drama. Usyk triumphed with a 9th round knockout, defending his WBA, WBO, and IBF heavyweight titles. But the contest was not without controversy. A low blow from Dubois had put Usyk on the canvas, causing a moment of uncertainty.
If Daniel Dubois were to become undisputed, I was talking to someone about this. Obviously, Lennox Lewis is the greatest heavyweight we've ever produced, right? Lennox Lewis is top 3, top 4 heavyweights of all time. So no one's touching that. But does he jump above Fury? He surely jumps above AJ. If he were to beat Usyk and become undisputed, surely jump. He's the second best heavyweight we've ever had. Am I wrong? Can't be wrong. I'm right. If he were to become undisputed, he is number 2 behind Lennox Lewis. And you know what's scary? What is Daniel Dubois, 27? Again, this is all ifs and buts and maybes. Look how long he's got to catch Lewis. Which, if someone told you this 2 years ago, you would have locked them up and thrown away the key. This is real conversations now.
In the aftermath, Usyk would go on to face Tyson Fury in 2 grueling battles, solidifying his place in boxing history, though some have questioned whether those wars with Fury might have taken a toll on the Ukrainian. At 38 years old, Usyk has fought some of the most punishing bouts of his career, but Fury's frank analysis points to Dubois' youth and strength as potential game changers in the second showdown.
I'm sad for it.
Final one, Usyk, Dubois or Anthony Joshua, who would you rather fight, just hypothetically?
Who would I rather fight right now? Usyk. Because I want me revenge in England. That's all I want. I want a fair shout. And I don't believe I've got a fair shout the last 2 times. So I don't know what I'm going to have to do, because I can't leave it go to the decision. I'm going to have to knock the cunt out, but yeah, that's the one I want. But if I don't get that, then it'd be Joshua, the biggest British fight that will ever happen. And it would break all records, and it would sell out 100,000 at Wembley in an hour. And it's a fight that I think can happen for sure if I decide to come back and the deal's right and all the other shit that goes with it.
While Fury's prediction may not offer a definitive answer, his comments shed light on the delicate balance between experience and raw power. For Fury, the key factor is Usyk's age and the accumulated wear and tear of his battles, especially the 2 wars against Fury. As a fighter who's spent significant time inside the ring with both, Fury's insight into the matchup can't be dismissed. When asked about advice for Dubois ahead of the fight, Fury's response seemed to acknowledge the uphill battle Dubois faces if the fight goes the distance. However, the Gypsy King quickly shifted gears and suggested that Dubois should aim for a knockout.
What's the one bit of advice you'd give to Dubois against Usyk?
He'd knock him out. Because I wouldn't say that, because it's in England and you know it's on his own show, so just do the best you can. That's it, best you can. It hurt him before, the body shot put him down heavily.
John Fury, Tyson's father, is also backing Dubois to make history in this rematch. Despite his son's tough losses to Usyk, John Fury believes that the Ukrainian may be running out of steam. The 2 punishing fights against Tyson Fury have, in John's eyes, taken a toll on Usyk, and with Dubois' youth, power, and ability to land devastating shots, the time could be ripe for the challenger to strike. John's prediction adds more fuel to the growing belief that this is Dubois' moment to rise.
Usyk was a lucky man. Timing was right for him. That's all I can say about that. What's done's done, but let me tell you, good luck to Alexander Usyk. You know, he deserves to stay champion for a long time, but again, he's going to go on too long. And I just see now Daniel Dubois becoming a multi-belt champion soon, because how many fights you got in you? come up from cruiserweight to heavyweight, you got these big men banging away at you. He's only got to walk into one, and the bar's up for, and he's on a good win over Anthony Joshua. He had a good fight with the American Miller, you know, and at the end of the day, I just think it's a young man's game and anything can happen, but you could well see a new champion in Wembley soon.
Meanwhile, boxing experts have weighed in on the fight, each offering a unique perspective on the outcome. Spencer Oliver, a former European champion, has no doubts that Daniel Dubois will come out on top in this rematch. According to Oliver, Dubois has made significant strides since their first encounter in 2023.
Daniel Dubois beats Alexander Usyk.
How do you get to a point where you, besides the emotive connection with thinking that Daniel is in a better place than he was before, there's been no decline in Usyk, and we know we've got Krzyzak in the background leaving him as a promoter, but none of us think that's going to really affect Usyk. I've described Daniel Dubois as an irresistible force that might just be coming up against the immovable object. How do you reach the point where you are aligning upon Daniel Dubois beating Usyk? And we've been wrong every time we put against Usyk, it's gone the other way.
I was going to say, firstly, do not agree with me because you do get them ones wrong.
I do agree with you, by the way.
Oh, you do?
I think that's because I want it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, look.
So you're both picking Dubois?
Absolutely. So I know Daniel Dubois. I see him work from day to day. I know what they're working on tactically. Go back to 2023 when Dubois lost to Alexander Usyk, and you say, all right, yeah, look, they seem quite far apart there. He had his moments, Daniel, but Usyk was sort of leagues above him then. Alexander Usyk has not got better since then. There's a lot of miles on the clock since then. There's no sign of deterioration. But what I'm saying is Daniel Dubois is a different character, a different animal from then.
You're saying that Usyk has not got better since fighting Daniel Dubois?
Yeah,
even though he's dealt with Fury.
Yeah, absolutely. That doesn't mean he's improved. I think the two
Doesn't mean
fights
he got worse either, does it?
No. The two fights with Fury. I'm just doing this. It's a calculated gamble. I think the two fights with Fury would have put some miles on the clock with Usyk, and Daniel Dubois, since the Usyk loss, has improved dramatically. And I mean dramatically, not just physically, mentally as well.
Teddy Atlas, the renowned boxing trainer and commentator, offered a more balanced perspective. While acknowledging Usyk's impressive resilience, Atlas also noted that Dubois has grown both professionally and personally. Dubois has matured, Atlas said, noting the personal and national challenges the Brit has faced. That maturity, according to Atlas, will be key in his ability to handle the pressure of the rematch. But whether Dubois' growth is enough to overcome Usyk's skill and experience is another question. Usyk's proven ability to adapt in the ring remains a major threat.
I have respect for both guys. And look, we're close to Usyk, so I'm not going to hide that. And I think a lot of both of them, as men, forget about fighters, as men, I think a lot of Usyk, the man he is, what he's done really for his country, to really fight during the pressure of his country being torn apart and invaded by another country, by Russia, and to fight during those times and that going on in his country with his people, and just, like I said, just destroying what he loves, Ukraine. And I also have a lot of respect for Dubois, for the man he is and what he's become. That he fell apart in two fights. Yeah, different things happen, I get it, but physical things happen in the fight with Joyce, and then in a fight with Usyk.
Prince Naseem Hamed, the former world champion with a keen eye for power and aggression, also believes that Dubois has a genuine chance of pulling off an upset. Hamed reflects on the controversial low blow that Dubois delivered in their first fight, which rattled Usyk more than any other opponent he's faced. If Dubois can replicate that intensity without crossing the line, Hamed suggests Usyk may once again find himself vulnerable. The unpredictable nature of the fight and Dubois' raw power could be the deciding factors, making this a dangerous encounter for the champion.
Fury, AJ next, you think both of them coming off losses? It's the fight we always wanted to see as domestic boxing fans.
Yeah, I suppose that fight is right there, and everybody still wants to see it. But to be honest, we've still got Daniel Dubois, and I was sat next to Daniel Dubois.
Triple D, baby.
Triple D, baby, all day, every day. Let me just tell you this. In my eyes, for me, he's the only one. Triple D is the only one, Daniel Dubois is the only one that's ever hurt Usyk and put him down on the floor, made him think. And he was down there for like 3-4 minutes. So who's to say that once he fights Usyk again, to go out there and absolutely destroy him and bring our belts back to our country like it's supposed to be.
However, Johnny Nelson, another highly respected voice in boxing, isn't ready to write off Usyk just yet. While Nelson acknowledges that Dubois has improved since their first meeting, he still believes that Usyk will come out on top in a more methodical, calculated fashion. Nelson suggests that it won't be a single explosive punch that decides the fight, but rather Usyk's ability to maintain consistent pressure over the course of the bout. Usyk's superior ring IQ combined with his ability to adapt will make it difficult for Dubois to solve the puzzle this time around, according to Nelson. His prediction is rooted in Usyk's experience and ability to control the tempo of the fight.
The top 5 heavyweights.
The world heavyweight landscape is completely changed massively over the last 2 years. Alexander Usyk is now he's in a pick and fight. I'll pick him. Might be 2 fights down the line, he's gone. The heavyweight landscape, they're looking for a new star, a new dominant figure, and it could involve Fabio. The boxing snob is out there winning now. Moses, a wicked fighter, young fighters coming through. You look at how Daniel has obviously his confidence has come up. We'll see how he goes on against Usyk. Again, he may shock the world. So the landscape has changed, which again, it's very hard to predict tomorrow.
How much of a chance do you give Daniel Dubois in comparison to the second AJ fight, the Fury fights?
I think Daniel's performance in this fight will be better than his first fight against Usyk, but I do believe Usyk will put on a better performance and probably stop Daniel, in my opinion. Usyk has forever shown the public that let me blueprint your download your blueprint and I've got your number. He beat Tyson better the second time. He beat AJ better the second time, and both fighters boxed better the second time around. So the only thing Daniel's got now, he's got unbelievable self-belief and confidence that's come since their last fight. So again, we'll just see what's changed.
Dave Allen, a fighter who has sparred with Usyk, shares a similar view, noting that Usyk's technical brilliance will likely be the deciding factor. However, Allen also concedes that Dubois' improvements shouldn't be overlooked. The British fighter is no longer just a brute force contender. He's a more intelligent and methodical athlete who has tested his endurance against top-tier opponents. This could make him a much tougher challenge for Usyk than their first encounter, Allen believes.
I think Dubois will beat him. That's my early prediction. I know a lot of people will obviously fancy Usyk, and rightfully so. And as much as I like Dubois and think he's getting better and all the rest of it, I'd like to see Usyk win. I think Usyk's a great fella and a great fighter, but I think Dubois will win.
Jarrell Big Baby Miller, who fought Dubois in a notable contest, brought up an important point: Usyk's physical condition. Miller wonders whether the strain of his past battles, particularly those against Tyson Fury, has taken a toll on Usyk's body. He questions whether Usyk has lost a step, which could give Dubois the window he needs to pull off an upset. While Miller acknowledges Dubois' progress, he believes Usyk's age and the physical toll of his previous bouts could leave him vulnerable.
I think he's definitely graduated since our fight. Can Dubois pull it off? I think he definitely can. It depends on how much Usyk has in the tank. If he can outwit Dubois. I think it's a great fight regardless. And the best man is gonna win. You know what I mean? I want my rematch with Dubois. I'm gonna fuck him up, But it's weird, man. Dubois is the only person that can make me want to hate him and then like him, like literally within 30 seconds of my brain, like I want to kill this motherfucking I like Dubois. It's weird. He's one of the only fighters that actually do that to me. But I realized that if you actually meet Dubois and talk to him, there's a reason why you have that love-hate sympathy with him. You know what I'm trying to say? So all power to Dubois. You know what I mean? Hopes he pulls it off in many ways and give him a goddamn rematch.
Joe Rogan has praised Dubois' growth and highlighted his raw strength and hunger for success. Rogan believes that Dubois' dominant performance against Anthony Joshua, coupled with his rise through the heavyweight ranks, makes him a legitimate threat to Usyk.
Right? Yep. Yeah, he's coming into that guy's scary. He's dangerous.
And you know, the interesting thing is that at least the press in the UK, they didn't give him a hope. Everybody
Really?
was talking about, you know, like when Joshua gets Dubois out of the way, then we can move on to the next fight. And this is a fight that we want to see.
It seems like Joshua believed that going into that fight. It seems like he believed that he was just going to dominate him.
Yeah, and he just got ruthlessly exposed. The power of Dubois. I remember I bought into it. I was like, okay, so I'll watch it, but you know, this is going to be a stepping stone match. It wasn't a stepping stone.
Aggression too, man. He was so aggressive. He was just in the pocket constantly, just forcing Joshua to go to war. It was wild.
Yeah, and it rapidly became apparent that Joshua couldn't match him. He just couldn't go to war with him. And at the end, this showed what the fight was like. Everybody was like, look, to Joshua, I think you're done. And nobody predicted
Isn't that crazy?
that.
Right after he knocks out Francis Ngannou, and everyone's like, you're back.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, he flattened Francis Ngannou, and everyone's like, oh, Joshua's back. Look how good he looked.
Yeah.
Ruthless game, man.
Adam Booth, who has worked closely with Dubois, also notes that the British fighter has evolved significantly since their first encounter. Booth recalls that Dubois once fought with a traditional, somewhat outdated style, but he now possesses a more modern tactical approach. This evolution makes Dubois a far more dangerous proposition for Usyk. With increased discipline and mental focus, Dubois is poised to make a serious challenge for the undisputed heavyweight championship.
Adam playing out.
Different to the first one. I can make much more of an argument for Dubois in this fight.
Me too.
Firstly, because he actually had success in the first fight.
He did. Do you think it was a low blow?
No.
No.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
You do think it was a low blow?
Absolutely was. If you look,
You do?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Sorry, you caught me out then with the question. If you watch, it lands low, and while it's got contact with the shorts, it actually rides up at the point of impact.
So I've no use to my argument.
But it's irrelevant. Because they're going to fight again. Usyk won the first time, and as he said, he won by stoppage. But Daniel Dubois is a different fighter now. Fighting is 90% mental, and he is a completely different fighter mentally. He lets his hands go with freedom. He now trusts his engine because he had those rounds with Jarrell Miller that tested his engine. So he's kind of ticked the little boxes along the way, old school style.
Chris Algieri, another vocal supporter of Dubois, underscores the momentum the young Brit has built in recent months. Algieri points out that Dubois isn't just seeking revenge. He's coming into the fight as a more polished, confident, and battle-tested contender. His wins over top fighters like Jarrell Miller and Anthony Joshua show that Dubois has refined his approach, and this new version of him could be a serious threat to Usyk.
But the narrative is much better for the Dubois rematch. You've got the fact that they fought, and then since then Dubois has been on a tear, beating guys that he was the underdog against, Ergovich, and then Anthony Joshua, of course. You know, the guy has really revamped his entire career, turned it around, gone from a guy that people saw as a quitter to being potentially the most dangerous man in the world. So you've got this narrative now that Dubois is a different guy, so this rematch will be different. Also, you have the fact that Usyk, in the ring after his win over Tyson Fury, Dubois came into the ring, challenged him, and Usyk said, Your Excellency, Turkey, make the fight with Dubois. He's a man of his word. That guy says something, a good chance it's going to happen. So I believe the narrative is there, you know, for this fight, obviously, and this is one of the reasons why it's being made.
Ricky Hatton, the former world champion, views this contest as a compelling clash of styles, with a fascinating storyline unfolding around Dubois' development as a fighter. Hatton reflects on Dubois' loss to Joe Joyce in 2023, a defeat that many considered a major blow to the young Briton's career. However, Hatton sees it differently. He believes that setback has become a crucial turning point in Dubois' career, shaping him into a more focused and dangerous fighter.
You know, Dubois, what do you make of that fight, the rematch?
I think it's the best fight. I think they're the best two heavyweights in the world, and there was a bit of controversy with the last time, which goes with the grain in boxing, doesn't it? A bit of controversy, but no, I think Daniel's got a better chance than he had the first time. Yeah, what with the win off Joshua, that his confidence is massively up. Well, when he fought Usyk last time, he come off the defeat from Joyce, and you know, but now he's absolutely flying. He's got as good a chance. Better chance than he had the first time around, I think.
Meanwhile, Derek Chisora, a veteran who has faced both Usyk and Dubois in the ring, offers a more measured take on the fight. While acknowledging Dubois' improvements, Chisora cautions that defeating Usyk will never be an easy task. He points to Usyk's poise under pressure and his ability to execute flawless boxing techniques, even in the most challenging situations. Chisora leans slightly toward Usyk, emphasizing his consistency and the champion's proven ability to rise to the occasion when it matters most.
Derek, in regards to yourself, are you going to just sit back and see what happens with Dubois and Usyk first?
Yes, because I want to sit down and watch it. So, give a shout out to Daniel. Good luck anyway. You're going to be fighting a guy who's very on point. So, I'll be watching.
Frazer Clarke, another heavyweight who has been closely following the developments of this rematch, strikes a more balanced view. While he acknowledges the power and potential that Dubois brings to the ring, Clarke stresses that brute force alone will not be enough to overcome someone as skilled and tactically sharp as Usyk. Clarke believes that Dubois will need to show mental clarity and execute a strong strategy if he hopes to take down the seasoned champion.
It gives a lot more. It's a different Dubois, it's a different fight. I think he gives a lot more problem. I think he's got a lot more confidence. I think he's starting to realise when he hits things, things fall over. If he hits them often enough and clean enough, it doesn't matter who you are, if you're Usyk or whoever else. I know he's a tough man, Usyk, but if Daniel hits you often enough and hard enough, you break. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. Saying that, I know he's in great form and that, but this Usyk, mate, he's the real deal, mate. So no one just get giddy and get too excited about Daniel, mate. We're talking about the real deal, and Alexander Usyk. When he needs to be tough and tough, and when he needs to be super smart, he's that as well. But I think Daniel, with the wave of confidence he's got, will cause him more problems now than he did before, definitely.
Adding even more intrigue to the conversation is the controversial statement from heavyweight contender Martin Bakole. Bakole, who has sparred with both Dubois and Usyk, recently claimed that he had stopped both fighters in their respective sparring session.
I know why I'm saying that, because I learned box from my brother with Saxpo. Not only learn from that, but I know how to stop and cross the ring. But Daniel Dubois does. I was respecting the Usyk to get beat by Gypsy King, but I was surprised, shocked he beat Gypsy King twice. And Joshua is good, it's a tough guy, but he doesn't know how to cross the ring. That's the reason why you see Usyk is schooling them. I think Daniel Dubois will never change. He'll just keep his style, but Usyk is more higher than him, and he's going to keep the same thing. Same stuff, just try to avoid that box shot.
As the fight draws closer, all eyes are on the heavyweights. The boxing world remains divided on who will come out on top, but one thing is for certain, the rematch promises to be a thrilling, high-stakes battle. Whether Usyk's experience and ring IQ will carry the day, or Dubois' raw power and newfound maturity will prove decisive, remains to be seen.